Well, the draft's going to be a really boring Thursday because we aren't picking. Because this team is a clown show and decided to trade their 29th overall pick, the pick from D Ford, and swap third-round draft picks with the Seattle Seahawks to get Frank Clark. Whoop-de-doo. Who cares? This was to get Khalil Mack or, a really, really good player, I'd be excited. Clark's okay. He's nothing special. I don't know, I think D Ford is better. Everyone is saying that Frank Clark is better than D Ford. I don't think so. I get it that Frank Clark was thriving in the 4-3 system in Seattle, and we're switching to that system, and we traded D Ford because we didn't think he could play in that system, even though that's what he played in college. And we cut Justin Houston because we didn't think he could play in the system, and he went to that system anyway in Indianapolis. This offseason has been terrible. Tyrann Mathieu signing was awesome. The Ogba trade, trading the scrub known as Eric Murray for a developmental piece in Emmanuel Ogba, I loved that. That was fantastic. Everything else, terrible. Bashaud Breeland, our big secondary signing, we have no one that can cover anybody. Charvarius Ward, horrible. Kendall Fuller, horrible. Breeland's okay, but can he stay healthy? I don't know. And then at safety, we're going to have Ty. And then on the other side, Lucas, Watts, maybe Sorensen. I think Sorensen is going to play more of that money backer role like he always did. And then hopefully I want to draft Nasir Adderley. I feel like he's going to be on the Chiefs draft board. I think he's going to be a pretty decent player. And then linebackers, it's pathetic. Because Damian Wilson, okay, he's probably going to end up starting. Strong side linebacker, Hitchens, played at the 4-3 with Damian Wilson when they were both in Dallas. So maybe Hitchens won't suck as bad this year. And then I just put DOD in that last spot because everyone seems to love Dorian O'Daniel for some reason. Like I said, he's another one of those guys that's okay. Like Frank Clark's better than him. I'm not comparing him and Frank Clark when I say okay. But O'Daniel is okay. He may be pretty good in a couple of years, but no, I don't want him. I shouldn't say that. I do want him. I think he's good for the future, but I'm not one of those people that are like crazy for DOD because DOD hasn't done much. And so with the 29th pick, I was really, really hoping for DeAndre Baker. He was a beast at Georgia, even though I can't stand Georgia. DeAndre Baker was a good football player, and I would have welcomed him to the team anytime. But that's not going to happen, because in my mock draft, I have him going to Philly now, I believe. So that's not going to happen. And then where is Clark going to play? Because he's going to play the end spot, which is what he did in Seattle. But then, what does the rest of the D-line look like? Because I assume we're going to move Chris Jones inside to defensive tackle. Probably put Noddy up there with him. Clark at one of the ends. And then at the other, is it going to be Okafor or Ogba? I don't know. I feel like they're going to try to rotate that a little bit. And then on offense, everyone's like, oh, we have the number one scoring offense. But they're a big freaking whoop. DK Metcalf was tied with the Chiefs a lot. That's not going to happen because we traded the first-round draft pick. I'm not super pissed about that, but DK would have been fun, but he wouldn't. I don't know. He wasn't necessary for the team to be good. But everyone's saying draft all defense. Well, the offense still needs some help. The entire left side of the offensive line is horrible, with Fisher, in my opinion, he's a bigger bust than Jamarcus Russell, because the Raiders at least got rid of Jamarcus Russell. Fisher is still here. I can't stand him. Then we got Cam Irving. I mean, he's improving, but it was pretty hard to get worse from where he was in Cleveland. Center Austin Ryder. Okay. Mitch Morse was a lot better. Hopefully we can draft a center in the later rounds that can take over for where Morse was, because I don't trust Ryder either. Right guard, LDT, that's completely fine. Right tackle, Mitchell Schwartz. Both of them are good, but the rest of the line needs work. Tight end, Kelsey, could use a guy in the later rounds to go behind him. Wide receiver, Watkins and Hill. Hill's going to be the number one receiver, but with all the child abuse stuff that's going on, I don't know. I don't think he did it, but they still could suspend him. We had Conley last year. I liked Conley. I'm going to miss Conley, but I don't regret letting Conley go. I think that was the right decision to make. So I think we could use a wide receiver, but everyone seems to be obsessed with Garrett Dieter for some reason. Garrett Dieter is trash, and I mean that. He's not very good at all. Running back, everyone's saying we should draft a running back, but Carlos Hyde and Damian Williams, I feel like, can hold down the fort by themselves. I always liked Carlos Hyde. When he was in San Francisco, he was one of the few bright spots on that otherwise terrible offense. With that was like when they had Kaepernick and Torrey Smith and I don't know, Garrett Selleck or something. And then fullback, Sherman's back. That's always great. Quarterback, Mahomes. I mean, we could use a backup because Henney's not good. But outside of that, not too much to really do in the draft. So, I don't know. I always like having a first-round draft pick to kind of have that player. But at the same time, you can make it work when you don't have a first-round pick. Like a couple years ago, we got Chris Jones when we didn't have a first-round draft pick, which was a great pick. Chris is now my favorite player. But last year we didn't have a first-round draft pick, and Veach completely failed at every level. So our first pick in that draft was Breeland Speaks. Breeland was projected by a lot of people to go into the 4th round, and we traded up to get him in the 2nd round. Player I wanted was Dante Jackson, who's ended up pretty well for the Panthers. And then we drafted Derek Nottie. He's okay. I'm fine with that one. Speaks, no. Speaks is terrible. He blew the first Patriots game, and he's just bad. He's just bad. Nottie hasn't really proved anything yet, which is what people use players like Nottie that Veach brought in that haven't done too much, but they haven't completely sucked as a reason why, Brett Veach is a fantastic GM. But no, he's not. And then after that, number 100 was the pick when we selected O'Daniel. Again, not terrible. I wanted Ronnie Harrison. I think that would have been a better pick, but whatever. And then we drafted Khalil McKenzie. That pick was just stupid. There are still a couple decent players available, and we drafted a defensive tackle in an attempt to move him to an offensive guard. I get that he played guard in high school, but he hasn't done anything. I don't think he will do anything. I think they just did that to piss Reggie McKenzie, the at the time Raiders GM, off. And then Trey Smith, good kick returner. Not a lot to say about that. And Armani Watts. I was really excited about Watts, but he hasn't done too much, and he's been injury prone. So, long story short, I don't trust Veach. I think the Frank Clark trade was stupid, and I think the draft's going to end up pretty bad for us.